Okay, so we are back. No data. Ah, the internet in Germany. Stream health, no data. Stream is healthy. I don't get that quite. End stream, here's everything good, but 2000 dropped frames. Huh. Okay. Hey Ta, nice to see you. As I said, I have a big trouble. I don't know what happens, but that's why I'm here today for. I want just to try a bit around. Hey Ta, nice to see you. As I said, I have a big trouble. I don't know what happens, but that's why I'm here today for. I want just to try a bit around. Oh, I hear me twice. That is not good. That means, here I am still. Okay, so now it's much better. So still we don't hear each other. All right, so nice to see you guys. I hope the stream is now, its stream stat is poor, so I think you get very bad quality for that. So let me see if I can change that somehow. Happens from time to time. As I said, I want to make the CodePen challenge, and I've seen that this is already over, but I promised it on Twitter, and I try to hold my promises. So I want to do that CodePen challenge today in Flutter. But now I have an excellent connection. Suddenly, don't know where the difference is. Okay, let's just try it out. If we get more problems, it would be great if you just write it in the comments, guys. As I said, I'm not the streamer usually, so it is just a try for me today. So yeah, as I said, the monthly challenge is already over. And now I want to try anyway to create that one, because you can still see the completed challenges on CodePen down here. And we can jump into them. And my plan is to make a small, let's say, a small design for that. And after that, we just jump into it and write a small Flutter application. Okay, so what is the challenge about? As far as I've read so far is that the CodePen challenge this week is that we want to have user-uploaded images. And if you click here on Start Pen, you get already a created pen for that. And you can see there are multiple pictures. And the interesting part is that they have different sizes. They are big, small, rectangle. Sometimes they have no border at all, but yeah, or they have some shapes to them or are very big. So the idea is to get a design for that looks beautiful and can be used for everything. And because CodePen has always a sponsor, so I read, in that case it is Imagix, then you have possibilities with them to work to. So if we jump to Imagix, we can see it is an API that has the benefit that we can compress, for example, the images, we can set the sizes for the things, we can crop them, and so on and so forth. And I want to take this advantage to improve the picture like we want to. Hey Ajay? Sorry, I'm very bad with names. Cool to see you all around. Okay, so let's take a look. There are some plenty ideas that they give you for starting the point. They also give you some resources, like for example dribbles that you can do, so you can jump inside them, have a look how they created them, and I really like them with that nice circle behind and also the images going a bit above. But I think will be very hard for the images that have already a border. And that is quite cool that CodePen already provide us with such information. So also we have the solutions that for this week, because the challenge is already over, so there are plenty of solutions, but with basic HTML, CSS and JavaScript, I assume at least that the most of them are. So let's jump, for example, in this one from Paulina. And as you can see, yep, HTML, JavaScript and CSS. Perfect. Okay. So I hope the stream is good. What do you think? Can we go further with that? Are you interested? Or would you like to see something else? I think I killed the microphone. So. Okay, so I think Taha would be more interested if I do it with something else, but I will do it with Adobe XD because I have it on my plate. And let's jump right into it, how we can design the stuff. Hey Modra dear. I hope my answer to your question regarding the Firebase user was helpful for you. So because it is a Flutter web, we have the possibility to have the full size of 1920 with full HD. And what we want to do is we have the different images, right? And we can do nearly everything with them because that API from Imagex give us the possibilities to cut or crop the images, to also make them smaller, bigger, and so on and so forth. So what we can try is, where is it? Here. View the challenge. What we can try is taking some of the images and try to crop them first inside of the Imagex API. So let's have a look. We get that by HTTP CodePen. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, cool. And if this is right with that Imagex, let's have a look. Imagex, here we go. I'm looking forward if the result is working for you more, Randy. Would be great. So we have auto compress that makes the image size smaller, I think. And then, okay, that is quite fast. Maybe we have a different API for that. API reference, sounds good. The base color, whip automatic. Blending. We can even have blend effects on the images. Oh, that is quite cool. Face detection. What does that do? Okay, we'll understand that this is an image, but cool. It will also crop the image to the face itself. Face padding. Okay. So we can even increase the size of the face. That is cool. It works well better than the last time. I'm very impressed. Thank you guys that you joined today. So, cool. I hope the music is not too loud for you guys. I can also reduce that a bit. We have the pixel density, the ratio, size, styling. Oh, blur is also. Really an interesting API. So we have all the possibilities, and what I want to try now is just taking that image, which has 320 to 294 pixels. I want to crop it on the left, on the right. And as I see, we can give it a parameter with width. And I think the width, can we enter that somewhere? High, sharp. Yeah, it's just W, perfect. Okay, so the image width is W, and then the crop mode. Maybe this one is even better, because crop will cut a bit down. And then we can say fit crop. They should also be set so that the crop behavior is defined within specific image dimensions. All right. FPX. That's focal point. Okay, that is face. Okay. So crop the top left, and then how many pixels we want to crop? Is there any? Multiple values can be used by separating them by a comma. Okay, let's first start with width and height and then go further. So W. And we just pass by the width as an output image, primary mode is positive integer, interpreted as pixel height. Okay, perfect. So that means if we go here and say 200, for example, and also age for the height of 200, we should get a different image. That seems not to work. Maybe I have also to set the fit parameter to, let's try crop in that case. And I think that was an ampersand in between. Much better. Okay, so let's crop it not for this time, because most likely I did a mistake. Yeah, cool. It's even trying to scale it correctly. So it doesn't just cut it by 200 of 200, it scales it, because we can see up here the pixels are 200 of 184. That's quite cool. And what was it with the crop? So we can say fit crop, and the width and age. Does the crop parameters work like I expect? So fit is crop, ampersand, and the rest. Yeah, now we have 200 to 200. So crop don't scales the whole picture with us. Okay, so that's something. And now let's see what we want to do, right? So if we want to design the whole thing, we will get some images, different sizes. I think we have also different shapes for them. So just to have an idea, this could be looking like that. And we don't have any structure to that. And I think that is a bit sad, because we have here user uploaded images, and users usually have a very big interest to see their face beautifully aligned to someone. So I could make it very easy, because Flutter gives us a very nice opportunity with the circle avatar that you most likely know. And we could just make a list of users and, oh, I think I have a cool idea. I don't know if it works, if I can do it that easily, but what we can do is I could create like a list of different users. So we would create multiple, how can I fit that on the size that it is blocked? Nope. Yeah, much better. So that we create multiple users as an instance and tell that are the profile pictures of the people. Whoops. So maybe, I don't know how many. So what we can do is creating a repeated grid and put them on top like this and remove these. So, and with these users, we could create names down there. And when we click one, we come in a detail page. So what do you think about that idea? Or do you have a better one? So that would lead, I will just go further with that, but if you have a good idea, please let me know. So we would have the users, like a box, whoops, that I bring to the backwards. I think we need more space in between these. I think I have to remove that repeat grid, unfortunately. So. And create something like that with a text. Let's call it username or Flutter explained, and make that one pretty big. You think it's a good idea? Yeah, I think so too. So we would have something like that, and I just want to have something that I want to rebuild so that we have something that we can see, you know, then it's easier for me to create, for example, the different alignments and columns and whatever. So I don't have to think about them anymore. Voila. So, and we would have, I don't know, that's more than enough because we would have multiple of them. I just create one or two. And when we click one of them, so I can also prototype that a little bit. So when we create one of them, we jump in the next page, and the next page would give more detailed information about the user, maybe centralized because we don't have so many options at the moment. So we would have like one image, and maybe with a hero animation, we transform the image and bring it then a bit bigger on that side. So we make the picture bigger with a hero animation, and then we tell more information about the user here. I'm not sure if CodePen supports everything of that, but we will see. I just will try around. Okay. Yeah, I think that should work. So let's see. What do you prefer? Should I work with Visual Studio Code or with Android Studio? Any benefits? All right, I will just start with that one, and if you think you have a preference for the browsers, then I will, for the IDE, I will change that. Okay, so what we have here, I'm a bit faster than you guys, that is the problem. I have to wait 30 seconds. All right, Visual Studio. Sorry, I didn't realize. So I close off the Android Studio, and let's open up the other one. Oh, I have still an old project here. Let's see where my other one is. I pull that down for now. And let's see where we are. So back. Block. I just create a new one. Yep. New. Yeah, true. I just work more, or I just like to work more with Android Studio if I make bigger projects. But for the small ones, I'm always happy with the Visual Studio Code, and I will learn a lot of shortcuts from you, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so we want to have a new project. I call that now for CodePen Challenge CC and user image upload. Let's create it here. So, and I hope I don't have anything to update, but it looks good for now. Wow. Okay, so we delete everything from our boilerplate. I think the whole comments you already have read a lot of times, and if not, it makes really sense, so read them. So everything is here, so we clean up. So one important thing to remember is that in CodePen we don't have any access to the pub dev packages, and we don't have access to multiple files, right? So what I will do is I create everything in one file, or what I also can do is I can create multiple files and bring them at the end together to push it to GitHub CodePen. What would be the better approach? I think I start with one file, and if it's getting way too big or something, then I can still pull them out together outside so that I can work with that. What do you think? Is that a good approach? Wow, no more comments. True, yeah. It's a bit sad that there is no code highlighting yet in CodePen. I hope that will be implemented soon. All right, so we have that. Do you know a shortcut in Visual Studio Code to create a GitHub repository instantly? No, I don't think there is. There a plugin for that? Oh well, I will do it afterwards, but that's all right. Let's first concentrate on programming. Yeah, so we create multiple files. All right, sounds good. I like that even more because I think inside of the IDE to work with one big file is like horrible. So let's create the first folder. I call them now screens. Some people like them more as views. I don't have big preferences here, but if you like, I can change that, of course. And what we will do is we extract, of course, the first widget, my homepage widget, because if we have that already, then the most of the stuff is already gone. And create a file, my homepage.dart. So we import the stateful widget with command point. I like that shortcut a lot because in Visual Studio Code it is very handy. We import that and that's fine. That is a good question. How do you import the packages? Do you use that package annotation or the other one that we always see that screens my homepage? I know that there is a recommendation of Dart efficiency, but I just read it once and I forgot it very quickly again. What do you think? In the meantime. Okay, so what we want to achieve. We have these two images. I put them now down for now, or to the side maybe. This could work. So we want to have a container, a border surrounding it, one image and one text. Fair enough, should be easy. So our homepage will have a scaffold. I think I like that because the scaffold gives us the possibility to write text without any errors. I don't have to write surrounded by any other material widget. And the app bar, I think I keep it for now. Maybe it gets interesting later that we have something on the top of everything. But for the body, we want to have something like a list view, I think, right? Because we have, we don't know how many of these containers we have, right? Depending on the images that we have. Of course, we know now the number exactly, but in the future, maybe we don't know it exactly. So we have a list view, and I hope I know everything still. And that list view has a builder. Or should I start with a row just to make it a bit easier to understand in the beginning? No, I think a list view is for now okay. With the item count let's start with 1. And the item builder, which has the context, the index. And we return something. We could even do this divider. Use the code, then import much easier. Ah, all right. Yep, that could be with the indexing. All right. So you mean with the stuff. So I think that can be gone because we don't have a counter yet. Also that floating action button can also be gone. And we have a nice little empty boilerplate. Cool. So what do we want to achieve? We want to have a container, and that container has a child. Most likely a text for now, or better, it has a column. Because when we take a look into our small mockup, we can see the image and the text should be in a column, but we can see there is a container surrounding it. And I think I have to start the application yet. So let's see what we have. Because we are working with web, but I know that the web hot reload has sometimes problems. Nash's extension, I think I have Nash's extension. That was Flutter awesome snippets, or where? Yep, this one. Why? Did I have missed something to use? So we have the container and we need, of course, a terminal. So now we have to first switch the channel to, I think, beta or master, because both of them only support web. And I think I will take the beta for now because we are working on web. I could work with master and work with the desktop. This is what I would prefer usually. If I download that now, let's see what my internet connection does. So guys, sorry if something breaks. I will be back. All right. So during this is downloading, we can tell a bit inside of the beta release, we don't have access to the desktop solution. And if I would work with if I wanted to create a Flutter web project, I would always use the desktop version and just build it on that, because I think the hot reload is a bit faster there with macOS and it is also a bit more fluent. But let's see how it turns out. Hey, I'm sweating. Yeah, it's very difficult. The last few streams that I did, there was so much stress. Nothing worked like I expected it. And next week, Tuesday, Martab maybe wants to make a video. Let's see how this turns out. I'm really looking forward to it. She also created a CodePen for that, and I just hope that the audience will like it. So looking really forward to it. So, yep, so we're downloading and building the SDK. Could take a while. Should be not too bad. But the internet connection was pretty good. In the meantime, what is wrong here? We have there a red one. Expected to find a semicolon, but didn't find one. Yeah, sure, because the builder returns something. Good. So now we should be fine. Flutter Doctor will tell us the truth. And yes, we can see channel beta. And we are working on a different version, and that should be doing the trick. And now if we enter Flutter config, we see that currently web is false for me and that macOS is true. So what I will do is Flutter no enable macOS desktop, because we don't need that. Oops, not find an option named. Did I mispronounce it? Okay, let's copy that. No. Okay, never had this issue. What is wrong? No, enable. Nah, who cares? Let's enable web for now, because that is the important thing that we want to have. But also this. Ah, geez, I forgot config. Okay, much better. And here we go. So if we enter now Flutter config again, we can see we have now web on true and macOS on false, and also unavailable. And if you see ever this and you remember and you don't know why this is happening, this is if you are not on the right channel for Flutter. So it kicks you out with that. And I think I'm a bit too loud, right? So let's try it this way. Yeah, sounds better. Okay, next step. We want to create now our Flutter project, because as you can see on the left side, we don't have a web folder. And to create that web folder, we have to recreate our project with Flutter create. And if we are inside of the project, we just make a dot for the folder strips where we are. And with that, we get this nice little web folder. Now we have the possibility to Flutter run, or if we want to connect the whole thing. Oh, sorry, you can't see even everything. So, and now to run the whole thing, we can use that run debug here. What was that? Cannot call write after stream was destroyed. Okay. Ah, now. And what you can see, now we have two more options here. We have the Chrome web and we have the web server web. I will use now Chrome, because I think Chrome is a bit a tad faster in build up and startup and everything, because, well, it's a Google product, so I hope that they make the performance always better for their products, right? So let's see. And I will also bring up, I think it will open up an own Chrome browser for that case. Let's see. Here we go. Good. And we got also the dev tools that I also bring up for now. So because the dev tools have a big benefit, you can just click around and you always see everything. And you can see on the right side we have that nice little window now with everything that we want. Yeah, as I said, it could be that the hot reload is not working correctly for us, so sometimes I have to restart the whole web and everything. So let's see how this is working today. Okay, so, but what I also have to do is make that a bit smaller. If I explain too much, just give me a hint, right? Because I don't know, I just tell you something that you could maybe be interested in. And so, and now we have that stuff, and we see our list view builder. And if we have a standard list view, it will always create it in a column. So now we want to have it more like in the y-axis, right? So for that we have, or I think there is a possibility, the scroll direction, and this gets an axis, and we can say horizontally or vertically. So if I remember right, horizontally will be to the horizontal line. And what we can try to see that is we increase the item count to 2, and we just make a text inside the column that we, we just give a text inside the column and write here inside element number index, just to see where we are. And what you can see now, we created our list element with element 0 and element 1. And what I also can do is, I think the builder is a good idea, but what we can see, we want to have always a little bit space in between them. But I think I will do that later if we see it better. For now, the decoration of the container gets a box decoration. And this box decoration should have a border, because what I want to do is having this light border surrounding it. And this gets, what is it, border? Nope, that is not what I want. I think border.circular, no. Do I have to create a border side for it, or all? I think all sounds good. And now you give it a color. And colors should be always const, because then they are more speedy. And I just want to have it black, and so I will give that a black value. Was it wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So we delete one and try it again. And let's see where our tool is. So here. And as you can see now, we have the nice little border, but still we are not there yet, right? So we want to surround the whole thing with a padding. And now, it's still in progress. It's complaining. Wow, it's so slow. I think I killed it once. Maybe I made a mistake somewhere. Did you participate in the CodePen challenge yet? So, and now we have the padding surrounding it in general. But I don't like that we have now every item in the list that is surrounded by the paddings. What I would like is that we have a padding on top and a padding on bottom, but surrounding of the whole list view. So what I will do is I remove that padding here for now and add that to here. And what we can see now is that the padding surrounds now the whole part. And now comes what I said. We have the builder, and the builder is good because the builder has the possibility to lazy load our items and creates them when they are in the view. And will you participate in the future, Taha? So it will create it if it's in the view. But what I want to achieve is I want to have always a divider, so there should be space in between. Matplotlib all day today in Jupyter Notebook. That sounds like Python development, or? So what I want to do is creating this separated here. And what's the cool thing here is that we have a separator builder. And also that gives us a context and returns something. And what I want to return is, yes, a context. And what I want to return is a sized box with the width of, let's say, 8. With the width of 8. So where did I make a mistake? Where's the error? Size box context can't be assigned to parameter widget. Function build context. There is a number, so this gets also an index. So I could say that every second image has it. Yeah, but you already created some awesome CodePens. And how does it work with the ML? Do you still started with learning it, or did you already have some experience with it? So we have that separator now, and we can see now in between we have these nice separations. Okay, but now let's come focus to our image, right? So we have here that text widget. And what I said is already that we want to use, or what I want to use now is just a circle avatar. Lol. Yeah, but still, it is such an amazing one that it was announced in one of the Medium articles, right? So it was good enough. So, very new and still far further away than I am. I worked once in ML and I was just blown. Hey Tim, very nice to see you here. Your question is very interesting and very intriguing because as a consultant, I have to say it depends. I love Firestore, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of companies will always work with Firestore because they just like the flexibility. It's cloud-based and everything. But I know, especially myself, I know a lot of companies that have very big problems to work with Firebase. So for example, I worked here in Germany for the telecom, and maybe they have some subsystems, but they don't like it because of the compliance, and you know, Europeans have these GDPR stuff. So there are a lot of circumstances where there can be a lot of troubles, and especially with legal teams and everything. But I also worked with a company in New Zealand, and they had not so much problems with working with Firebase and so on. So I think it really depends on the company, on the project, and also on the different parts that you want to use. If you are a startup, you have no problems that your data is in America, go for it. Firebase is a great solution. If you're getting bigger, you always have to decide, right? You have always cloud solutions, you have on-premise solutions. And so, yeah, there are a lot of possibilities, right? So if you use anyway cloud functions, yeah, why not? Okay, but back to the circle avatar. I hope this answers the question. Okay, back to the avatar. We have a child, and inside of that child we can have an image. I think, was it like that? I'm not sure anymore. Let's jump into the documentation and have a look. I think we can make that debug console a bit smaller. And let's see what we have here. Background image. Yeah, background image loading. Yep, I think that's the one. So we have here the background image. And now we come first time to our network image that we get from these nice little URLs from imagex. So what we can do is say image network, which prepares us already the, no worries, Tim. So that creates us already a constructor with the network image possibility. So is that correct? No, it takes an image provider. That is very important for me because this one returns an image widget, but what it wants is just the network image in that case. So that is the image provider. Okay, so let's have a look. What do you want to have? I think you want to have a source, or was it just the URL? That was just the URL and scaling. Okay, so we try it with the URL of image1. And because I don't like the approach of knowing all the URLs and everything, what I will do is I create a constant with all the different parts. So this is a stateful widget yet. It's not necessary, I think, but maybe in the future. Let's keep it for now. So yes, I wanted to create a list of strings called URL list, and here list, yes, here we go. And here we create our list with different URLs. And I get from, let's see where it is. Here we go, from our CodePen that is here. So what I will do is I copy now all of these different strings and put them in this list. Here we go. And that can take a while. Are they numbered? Oh, if they are numbered, I'm faster, I think. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why is there no 4? Is that on purpose? All right, let's try that. So what was it? Yeah. That is Shift Option down if you are interested in that keyboard command. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's see if these are working all. And I'm very interested in that fourth one. Well, why is it missing? And let's say now that the URL list, which is I think even final. I think we never touch that again. And we can take this URL list down here now. So stable, yes, I try to work always on stable because I think I already told you about the electric app that I sometimes post on Twitter. And what I want to do is whenever it is on, oh, was the 10th an SVG? Oh, that is mean because Flutter is not so good with SVGs. Oh, let's take a look. Thank you, Tim. So I work on stable, yes, but I try always to go back to master or to beta, take a look what has changed and try to make the app directly compatible because, yeah, why not, future-proof and everything. And for all the other apps that I'm working on, yeah, I usually try to work on stable. But I've seen that you have one package or something, how you can create multiple instances of Flutter on your machine, right? Really would like to test that out because I change often the Flutter channels and it takes so much time. So let's try that one, 5 and 4, and make here a warning that this is SVG. And maybe call that let's just keep it for now. That's all right. So let's see how our app look. Here we go. So what you can see is I just take the 4th and you can see it is an image. Now I'm confused even more because I think I saw that one. So they just took 3 and 4 together, I think. Oh, but that's all right. So for me, what I want to do, no, that is indexed by 0. So I have made multiple mistakes here. So that is 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So guys, don't do the same mistake. It is of course 3. I don't know if it's a package or something, but I think you told you once written in a tweet that you can have multiple versions of Flutter in Visual Studio Code, but I could be wrong. Oh, all right. So maybe that would be a cool thing if you can give me there an explanation how you do that, because that is really cool. So now we don't have an image. So I removed that 4th one and now we see the image again and everything should be fine. Cool. So with that, you get multiple images, and because we want to create multiple of them and I'm lazy, I will take that image item count in VSC settings. All right. So I think that would be much faster, right? Because I can just say, hey, the location of stable is there and master is there and beta is somewhere else, right? So I think that will improve the working with different levels of Flutter. Cool. So, but the Flutter count is now the URL list or something. Dot length, and the length, creates us already the amount. And as you can see, the list view immediately works fine, right? That is exactly what I want. But what I don't like is that we have now left a padding where we scroll. It looks like we have always a padding somewhere. On the other hand, it doesn't look too bad. I think I keep it. What do you think? Should we remove the padding? Should we keep it? And here, instead of having the URL list, we take the index, because that will also create us nice fonts. Interesting. Why do I don't get the element 1 and element 5? And here you could see that the how smart the list view of Flutter is, right? Because we are not yet on the right side and we don't see inside of our browser the correct widgets. The network images don't load the image yet. So if I scroll on the right, you will see that they have a blue background and after a while they reload. And that is pretty awesome, I think. I hope that was visible for you guys. Else, what I could do is, to make it more demonstrable, if you are interested, is that we can slower our network speed down here to slow 3G. And what I will do now is I reload the page, but not yet, of course, because else it will take ages. So go. So now everything is loaded. We get some errors, that is fine. Or not really, I don't know why they are launching. I have to take a look later. Now we go to slow. And if I go now on the right, you will see that the images are loading very slowly in. Okay, they are too small that it takes too long. I'm impressed that the SVG is immediately loaded. Did you know that? Is that a new feature for Flutter in beta? I didn't know that. The last time when I worked with SVG, it was a bit more with working with a package and everything. But anyway, that works. And now what is with the other pages? So that is a JPEG. That is the problem. So 7 and 8 is JPEG. 7 and 2. So, and let's see now, we make that small, and this one we have to save. Hot reload. Okay, so I think we died again, so we restart the whole thing. As I said, working with the web is still a bit on working, so we can have these problems with hot reload and reload. This will be Flutter for web because we want to work in CodePen later, so we will transform everything to CodePen luthiers. All right, so now all the image is working, even the SVG. I'm impressed. So that's pretty cool, but still far away from our design, right? If we take a look here, it's much bigger. I think we have most likely place for 4 of these widgets. And if it is so small, we just want to have 1 maybe. So what I want to do is we create down here the circle avatar column. Where are we? That is our container. And what I want to do is we give the container a specific width, I think. Can we give it a max width? No. I think for that we need to use a box constraint. Yeah, but let's keep it for now, or no. Let's keep it for now with width, and we give it like 400. And now we have much more space, and it looks way better, I think. Maybe it is too big even, but on the whole screen. Yeah, no, I think on the whole screen it's fine. And now we want to bring that more in the bottom. So to do that, where we have the image, that should be here. So we have multiple options to do so. We could create a sized box on top of it with a height of 330, let's say. So, and we push it down with that. I don't know if this is the preferred way. I think what we also could do is creating another padding, or what I like more, I think, is creating here a padding in the container and say we have an edge insets dot only, and the only allows us to separate all the different levels. So we want to change top to 30. And with that, we have the same result, but we don't add a new widget to it, and I think it's smaller to do so. I don't know, can we make them const? Oh yeah, we can even make them const. That is cool. But I think even this can be a const. No? Sad face. Is this not a const? Oh, that's bad. Okay, cool. So we have that. I think that 400 is fine. We have this created. Cool. Now let's make that circle avatar a bit bigger. Or we have here the min radius and the max radius. Do we have anything else? Yeah, the radius. And I think I will change the min radius for now. And we can just give it a double. And for me, it was always a bit difficult to understand when I have to give a double, when I have to give a radius inside and so on. And it takes a while to get used to it, but you can jump inside. You can usually directly see if it's getting a double or something. So for that, we give it radius should be 30. Let's try that. Oh, all right, that looks weird. Why is it looking so weird? Did I somehow made a mistake here? Radius of 30, let's see. Okay, now it's getting a bit better. Hey, yeah, well, Tim, stick with it. That is very important. For me personally, I worked 1.5 years till I'm today, so 1.5 years I'm working with Flutter. Flutter is very easy to start with, but I learned that especially the packages for it and state management and everything, to get a deep dive, to understand everything correctly. And you see on my channel, there is less state management or nearly no state management because I really want to know what I'm talking about. And there are so many possibilities. And to do it right, I think you have to stick with it. You have to learn it. And what I did to learn it myself is I was going on to Exercism, where I'm now a mentor from time to time, where I write some Dart code, or I was on Code Wars. I think they offer some options to learn algorithm with Dart. Yes, there's also a book for that. It's called Actions with Flutter, which is down in the video description maybe. I'm not sure about that yet. but it is a book where you learn Flutter and Dart, and it is more like widget based, and it's not so much beginner friendly, I think. Very important is that you bring the basics from all other programming languages. That helped me a lot. So learning design patterns, understanding clean code, writing clean code, separation of concerns, solid principle. I would like to make more videos about these topics too, but I'm always a bit afraid that they are going too far away from Flutter and that people are not so much interested. But if you want to learn a language correctly, you should really take a look into them. And what I always recommend is not only downloading packages and using them, also jump inside, be like the developer itself, take the responsibility, read a bit about it, how it works inside, because you learn so much if you take a look, for example, in the provider package from Remy Rossellet, I hope, yeah, you know who I mean. And also, I recommend follow the people on Twitter. There are a lot of good people. For example, Taha created an amazing CodePen. And if you don't know it, because you are not on Twitter, for example, you will not, or you will never see the code examples that you can use there. Okay, I hope that answers the question a bit. Yeah. Good. Yeah, sorry. So we have the radius. Let's see, what do we take here? Let's have it to 100. I think it can be quite big. And also this text here, I want to have a text style for that. And give it a size, font size of, how big do we do it? I think 48. No worries. Always with pleasure. So, and now we have element 0. What I don't like is that we have only URL lists. That is a bit inconvenient, because what I wanted to do is like having fake users, right? Now we could create an API call to a random user list or something, but I don't like that either. What I will do is I want to create a model for that. So what I will do is I create a user. I don't know if this is a good approach for the other things because I fake here a bit, but I think that's okay. So I create a user.dart. Yeah, user model, user.dart, that's all right. It's a class that I call user. And the user will have a display name, which is a string. And also the image or avatar URL. Yeah, I think avatar URL is good. Cool. And now what we want to do is, or why did I do that? Because we have here a list of strings, but actually we have a list of users. And I import them. And why I do that is now because we have here first the image, right? And then now we have to set the text to the user name, or I want to have the username here or more user information. And I think that is a bit inconvenient if we just have that like here. So I take that string out and I will create for every user a name and a string. So let's do that. Not here, but we create a user. And as you most likely have already seen, I forgot something very important. I forgot to create a constructor. Let's do that. Is there a quick way to create a constructor in Visual Studio Code? Anyone has an idea? So, no? Okay, then let's do it this way. It's a nice hack if you want to quickly create a constructor and don't know the keyboard. You can just make them final. Then it will create you the constructor like so. And then you can just make it this way and remove the final again. So with that is, yes, Taha, let's go. What is the key? What do I have to do? Is it like constructor? No. Generate? Generate color? No. Maybe from the package of Nash? Ah, final is easiest. Okay, so let's stick with the final. I think that is cool. And then we can now have this here. And I made them now a named constructor. So that means we have this curly braces, but I think it is a bad idea. when I load images from network, how can I set placeholder? Because the widgets get expanded when the image is fully loaded. How can I add a placeholder? You could create, that is a good question. I think what you could do is you could have one image in front that you create and one image in behind. And whenever the first image is completely, or whenever the image is loaded, you just remove the other image that is as a placeholder there. That would be one option. Another option is creating a widget out of the circle avatar widget, because I think the circle avatar image don't provides that. But we can take a look if I'm right. So we have just color here. We have a text, I think a child. What is the child widget prepares us? It's typically a text, okay. So yeah, to create, I think it will be not so easy or not easy enough with the circle avatar. You could also take a look into a pub.dev package, because as far as I know, one of the pub.dev packages has also that nice little, I don't know the name anymore, but they had the option that you get a hash code from the image before you can load it completely. So you had a preview of the image, and after that it's getting to the real image, and that was really stunning. If I find the tweet, I will link it somewhere that you can get that. Don't know anymore, sorry. Okay, so we have here now our user list. And yeah, named constructors, exactly. So I was a bit too lazy, or I was a bit too motivated. I created named constructors. But if I take a look here, I see, okay, I don't want to make them now named everywhere. And I start with the display name. So what we have is now the username, for example, Luthiers, and we get the first image. Sorry, you are now a woman. I hope that's all right. And then we have user Taha, for example, and we get the next image. And we have another user, Tim, Sir, and another user, Jeez. Blur hash, iTunes, exactly. That is it. And an amazing package with amazing people who are working on that. And I was just stunned about what they have for progress there. So they really work a lot on that. And that is really cool, in my opinion. Hey, I was so nervous. And I have to admit, it works very well, guys. I really like that. I'm way much relaxed today than ever before. That is really cool. Thank you. So what do we have else? Max is always a good name. Then we have, I don't know, Mahtab. Let's go. All the good names that I remember. Do we have some German names? I think, how about Gertrud? Yeah, I take the bad German names, so. I can really use that. I think that would be amazing. I think that would be also a good tutorial. And if I hear right now that you would like to see one, and also Luthiers has the question with the images, maybe that is exactly what we want to do next. I think that's a cool point. I will take that with. So, Otto, go. Okay, now we have a list of users, we have the avatar URL, we have a broken code base, that is all fine, because because we changed here the name to a users list, and we have down here Hansel comes next. So the users list is a bad name, we just call it users, because the plural of user is already a list, we know that, so remove that list here. And here we have the index still, but then we want to access the avatar URL. So how does our application look? Not too bad. The only problem is that we still have everywhere element 0, 1, and so on. And yeah, how do we do that? We just take that user index. And for the string concatenation, blur hash tutorial Firebase storage. Yeah, that is exactly what, and I can just use the project that we did already with Firebase profile. maybe we do it directly with Firebase profile. I mean, we have that already, right? So for the string concatenation, if you have an object, we can use these curly braces here, and then we can also access multiple ones. So we can just say display name. And I think that should do the trick. Is anything red? Nope. But here we have hot reload. Let's try that. Nope. Kill it. And start it again. Right. Takes a while. Okay, and now we have all of you in place, right? So, oh, I changed my face slightly, but that's all right. The good thing is now we have really everywhere profile pictures, and that is really a real use case, right? People usually have all the different kinds of pictures. Interesting enough, I don't actually need to create all these blurry things, the cool things from ImageX, which is a bit sad, right? Because we have now this API and we have the opportunities, and we should maybe use that. So let's have a look. What could we do cool things with these images? We have colors blending, right? Blending is always a cool thing. But we could also do that with Flutter. So now my question for you guys is, should we do that with Flutter or should we do it with these ImageX URL or ImageX documentation? What do you prefer? Or let's have a look what we can blend. Maybe this makes more sense. Difference, hue, lightened, softened. Wow. Is it a blend in a blend? Ah, yeah, sure. No, that burned maybe. Yeah. Okay, I think we can do all of these also in Flutter, so I'm not sure which I prefer. I think that would be the CodePen preferred way because they want to make a bit ads for the ImageX, or not for the CodePen, but for ImageX. Yeah, okay, so let's try it. Hey Matab, nice to see you. Okay, so let's try it with Flutter. I think that's a good idea. Where we have our, yep, here we go. So what could we do? Let's make them, let's just blend them for now with something. So we have our image here, background image, and I think if I, there's like that Skrillex music that I will just download for a second. That kills me. Way better. Okay, so now we have that network image. Can we use that even? I think we can't do it. There is a reason for that, because we have an image provider in the background image, and the circle provider don't allow us to do that. So now we have two options. If we actually want to do it in Flutter, then we have to create here a container with a child. And the problem is here that the circle avatar does not allow us these possibilities, right? We only have a background image, and we can't surround the image with a blend mode, for example. So what I would recommend here, or what we have to do here, is we have to create a container with a child that is most likely an image. And here we have a network image, right? We learned that. And this network image will have, do I talk stupid stuff? Can we add the blend mode here? No, cool. Good. So now we have the child with the network image, and here we have the blend mode, I think. Let's see. So we created with the URL that is this one. And let's see what we have here. We have just the width. Okay, so now we also can't use the network creation. Now we have to add the provider ourselves. So we have this, we have the image, and the image needs an image, which is an image provider now, network image. That is quite complicated for people who are starting with Flutter or anything. I thought this image part is very confusing because we have that image, which is a widget. it contains an image, but this image is actually not an image, it is an image provider. And the image provider allows us to load the image from assets, from network, from everywhere in the world. So now we have that, and it's still complaining. Why? Can you go away? So, what is the problem here? The child contains too many positional arguments. Okay. The container has a child. Even the container is right, I missed. Now it's better. Cool. So now we have the image provider. We have a network image with the URL, which we get here. So, and we have the image back, but we have some issues. For example, now everything is rectangle and takes the full size, right? So the next thing that we have to do is we have to create this radius. And for that, we have to make that box a decoration. And with a box decoration, with no color. But now we have some possibilities. For example, the border radius. And now you can see already what I told you before with the border, border, with the border radius. The border radius is the part where we cut the edges out, like in HTML and CSS, right? And the border radius here has a border radius geometry. That is the difference to before, where we had just an integer. And this border radius wants to have a border. And I think we can have here one that says all. And we can give the width of 30, for example. That is wrong still. Was it not border? Yeah, so you see I make the same problems all the time. So that is box shape of a border radius. Okay. So let's see, what did I wrong? Is that a border radius here? And then inside we have something. Yeah, the border radius is taking that. But we have it. This is a radius, okay. So what we have is a border radius geometry, I said? No, border radius dot all. And inside of here we have a radius. And then we have to say that it's circular, and now we enter the... yes, so still confusing. So, let's see if we have now a surrounded border. No, why not? Did I miss something? Border radius elliptical, no circular, I think that is right. You think? So you... you are right. This is what I could do instead of having the child with the image, right? I think you are right. That should go. So what we have... sorry, wrong key. I don't know where I am. Let's give me a second. So here. Yeah, what we also could do instead of... Thank you, Flo. So what we also can do, instead of having the border radius here, we could have an image. But now be careful, that image is not an own widget. Right, it is an own widget, but another widget. It is not an image widget and also not a child. The child lies on top, the other one is the background of that. And that has the decoration image, I think. And that has also the image opportunity. And because this image should, and I'm not sure if this is right, but it should extend the image one. Let's have a look if this is right. No, it is not. It's completely an own one. So forget what I said. It is just an own decoration image. Okay, but this decoration image is more the background, I think, from the container. Cool. But it has also the image parameter, and we can just give the network image inside. And then we can remove the child here. And I think that should do the same trick. Yeah, and now we have also the radius inside. Perfect, iTunes. iTunes? Do I tell that correctly? I'm not sure. Okay, but now what you can see, we have already the shape. Now we can also add new stuff to that box decoration, like shadow, because people like box shadows, which is then like a list of box shadows. and we can have there a color which is const color dot black. No, I think I can't do that. 0xff and make the whole thing black. And now what we have also to add is an offset, which is from class offset, like 1 and 3, something like this. And we have a problem with the builder again. So this was a very quick box shadow here, which just gives a little bit more depth inside of the image. So let's start the whole thing. So you could see the border radius, and with the perfect tip with the decoration image, it worked way better. We have now the surroundings. And usually what I would do is for this part here, I would create now a own widget, because that is it's getting complicated if we keep it like that, right? Is the box shadow there, or just don't I see it because of the light? I don't know. I think it is not there. Did I miss something? The blur radius maybe? No, still not. Wow, that looks weird. Okay, so we have the shadow, but the shadow is some line somewhere. It's not part of the image. So maybe that was not a good idea or not a good explanation of the box shadow. Do we have here something? No. Okay, but anyway, let's have a look. We have here color filters. I'm not sure if we have a blend mode here on the decoration image, unfortunately. Oh, that would be sad. How could we solve this issue? Do we have a blend mode? We have a background blend mode, but I think that will not help with us, or will not help us. And also I'm not sure why the box shape is box shape dot circle. I think that we can add. Wow. The border radius equals 0. Okay, so we are not allowed to have a border radius if we make it circle. That's all right. Ah yeah, that's the same. So what's this? Center slice, color filter, fit, match decoration. Okay, you know what? I made a mistake. Instead of just trying around, we learned that the API usually has the better answers for that. So if we are inside of an image, we want to have a blend mode, right? So let's have a look into the Flutter.dev API or docs. Perfect. Happy to hear that. And now we just search for blend mode. And usually we get there a very good result, hopefully. Whoops, okay, we don't. Flutter blend mode, let's see. Okay, this works on different envys. Okay, so we have there a blend mode, but what is the Flutter image? Oops, that is something wrong. Here, the image class, and now we have the image provider, and here we should find something with a blend mode, I think. Yes. Okay, so it is the image that has the blend mode. Does the decoration image has one? So that is the next question. I think I know the answer. So let's see, we go here and search for decoration image. Oh, look at that. We have a fade in with a placeholder. Maybe this is something interesting for, or what was the name? I'm sorry, Lucius. That could be an interesting place for you that you want to show. So I will just add that URL to the chat. Sign in to chat. Where? Okay, I can't chat here. So wait a second. Nope. So many tabs. Here we go. Okay. But for the other, we don't see any decoration. Where comes the... that was inside of the container, right? Is the color filter the same thing? Decoration. The decoration has a decoration object. Like box decoration. No worries, that's alright. And what we can see is decoration image, box fit cover. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, but the blend mode, we have a background blend mode, box shadow, box decoration class. And now we have a decoration image, right? That is here. And we have the color filter. And the color filter applied to the image before painting. So we can set a color in front of it, but we don't have a blend mode. I think blend mode is something like burning or something. So they have different edges if you, I don't know if we have the, but that is no problem. I think the color filter should be fine enough. Let me test that. So we have the image, we have that decoration image. We take now the color image, color filter, and we just add whatever iTunes gave me now. Let's see if this is working. I think it will, I hope. No, sadly not. So what was the problem with the color? The thing is, what I don't understand right now, I like, we have here inside of the color filter the blend mode. Oh, that is nice. Didn't know that. That is cool. So let's see, color burn. Yeah, you love that? I'm sweating. Something don't work. No, that is amazing. I like that too. It makes way more fun if someone is asking questions, if I can answer them and everything. And even if I find a lucky link with the cookbook to the image placeholder. So, but there are a lot of questions that I have at the moment. I don't understand why the box shadow was so weirdly aligned, right? Because when we take a look into the box shadow, we get this gray weird area that I just recreate for a second. So colors.black. 0.2. And what was the other thing? I think spread radius is 3. So now they're getting, you see, we have that box shadow just on top of the hair right now. I don't really understand why. Something awkward, to be honest. 10? Oh, it's getting just... Okay, now she has a little box shadow on top of her. But still, the container seems to be very small. And of course, the container is very small. I think at least that this is the reason. Because the circle avatar down here is faking me an image. I think the image is not there. So the problem is that, or there seems to be, we get the network image, the decoration image, but the problem is that the container itself has no size. It is 0 to 0. So I can enter here whatever I want and there will be no solution for my problems. So for the column that we have here, I want to have the main axis alignment stretch. Main axis alignment center. And the cross axis alignment dot stretch. And that doesn't work. I know it's just trying to reload again. We have time, no rush. But I think with that it will work now. If this is there. because now the container gets stretched. At least I believe that. And no, sadly not. So what we will do now is we get our new or our DevTools here. And now let's have a look. We have here list, we have text, we have column, and now we can select them here. And if we take here a look, wow, it looks weird. Oh, it doesn't work in web. That is, for example, also new for me. I didn't know, I thought this would work in web already, but it seems that I just can select the padding here. That is unfortunate. Okay. All right. But for the container, what we can do, where I am, yeah, here. So for this container, it has a height of 400. And what is wrong with that one? We could give that a specific height and width for now. So just 400 on, here we go. 400, want to have that same size it. And maybe a bit smaller. 200, and we take away the stretch. Aha, here we go. Okay, it looks a bit weird, but we get there. We get there. Okay, I think the spread radius is way big, I think, right? So the blur radius could be free. Spread radius also free, and let's try it again for 2 and increase the blur radius again. Much better. Let's have that on 20. And why is it so black? It's most likely of the opacity. So if you use the colors.black, which is not a const, I tried that multiple times, unfortunate. You can also do something like here and giving opacity with opacity as a construction. So with opacity. And you can now enter the number that you want to have it opaque. So for my, I think, .3 is good. And it looks pretty good. And here, instead of center, we want to have it at the start again, because else our image is getting pushed into the middle. And another thing is that our circle is at the moment not a real circle, which is weird because we have the box shape of circle. So does someone see the problem with that? Can someone help? Why is the edges on the bottom and on the top cut off? We have that box shaped circle. Rectangle. No, I think circle is fine. But maybe circle is not circle enough. What I could try is I bring back the border radius. And for that I go here inside. Wait. Not inside the image, of course, but inside of the box decoration. And say border radius. And the border radius has the border radius geometry, which is border radius itself. So again, border radius dot all, and then radius dot circular, and then the size that we want. I give it 30. Let's see. It makes really weird cuttings on top of here, like a clipping or something. 100. Wow. So to be frank, I never had this issue before. I don't know if this is a web related thing, but what could I make better here? I have a column, and the column is in a container which has a width of 400. That is the whole thing, but that is not related to this widget here. Okay, what I will do now is something that you will never, or what I would never do at work. I will say it is good enough, and we keep it. A padding or a margin to what? You think to the container, but I think the image is inside as a decoration image, or not? This is also weird, because that should also work, or not? We have that. Because the images are not the same size. That is the problem. Because if you remember, our challenge is that the images are coming with different sizes and different things. So it could be that we have circled it correctly, but there is a problem with the size. The SVG looks pretty awesome, to be honest. Cool. But the problem is that this is getting cut off by the image, by the URL, I think. So that is 100 by 100, but it's getting cut off. So if we make that bigger and the container, we cut that better, that is the problem. So how we can solve this is by, sorry, wrong keyboard shortcut. So we can solve that issue by adding parameters to the images. I think that is the easiest way. Or we can scale it in the image, in the decoration image. That would be also an option. So if we take a look into that image here, let's see if we can size it here. Center slice fit, and then we can get box fit dot cover. And if we add now the circle thing again, instead of having the border radius, we give it the shape again with a circle. And we restart the whole thing. But I think that could be the problem. So the problem was that the image was too big and we not really saw the outlines of that. Ooh. Aha, looks much better. So the image is now in between. We've box fitted the whole thing and we have now our image. The only problem that I have with the SVG is it looks pretty good. Okay, now my music app is broken. All right, back here. The SVG looks pretty awesome, but it's getting cut off. That's a bit unfortunate. So what we could do is I think we can somehow move the image inside, but I'm not sure with that. So let's have a look. We can align that. We can center slice for a 9-patch image, okay. So what can we align it to? Bottom center, let's see what happens. Do we see something? Where? Okay, it's exactly the opposite, top center. Much better. So it is still free of everything. We could create maybe a circle around, border surrounding it, that it has more shape. Because it's interesting that the background of that container gets invisible or transparent thanks to the image. So what we also could do is inside of the decoration, we give the whole thing a color, which could be a const color and 0xf. So do you have a favorite color? So I think white is a good one, I think, for that. Is it white? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Nope. So, and with that, the background will be always white. So if it is not entered, hey, why don't you behave? Didn't work like expected. I thought that is the background image, or do I have to do it in the decoration image? No. We have a color filter, alignment. So colors.white. Oh, we get some errors. Let's see what happens here. Flutter has exited, stream sync is closed. Okay, yeah, that has a problem, so we have to reload again. I think we can close that. So you see, still I'm learning every day something new, right? Even though I worked with Flutter now a lot, and I still try to improve myself, but you will find always something that you will learn again. So now, for example, it's the first time that I work with SVGs since, I don't know, 3 months or something. But as you can see now, our container has now a background, a white background. But still, I'm not happy with that color filter, because that was the reason why we worked the whole day, right, with that. So what we can do here, can we do it, make it white and then with opacity or something? No. I don't know why the color filter is not applying. Let's have a look if we can Google that. Here we go. Color filter does not apply on image or decoration image. Oh yeah, you see, we have an issue in GitHub. Who didn't thought about that? So, and let's see who's working on that. Ah, Taha. So, for him it worked. Interesting. I know, definitely an issue. Okay, so that is interesting. We really have that problem. Do we have a solution for that? Too, it's very frustrating. Fix for this landing shortly. Thanks for patience. Okay, so 17 hours ago there was an issue that has exactly that problem that we have at the moment. So that is perfect. And that means the color filter like that don't apply at the moment. I hope that it's getting fixed, but I think it will not be fixed in the next 10 till 20 minutes. So I will remove that color filter. And what we do is now we will use the color filter from ImageX so far. So what that means is we want to go to that sponsored website that somewhere is living. I think it is here. Yep, here, blend mode. So, and now we just read how this works. So blend modes determine how color, image, text overlays and everything works. Modules, blend mode normal, and then we can just do these with the different blend modes. So let's have a look how this turns out. Or blend mode burn and then, I know this is with the image. Let's have it with the color for now because we started with that. So we wanted to have the blend mode, what was it? Here we go, color burn with purple. So let's see how this looks. We take color burn, we have burn here. And can I add also a color? Yeah, or so blend mode burn. But how do I add the color for that now? You may want to experiment. Blend mode is that. And the color, inversion, color component. Blend mode, color. Blend color, okay. I have to add that too, most likely. Parameter express color keyword, okay. So let's try that. We take that parameter and add that to one of the images. And let's see what's the result. So we add that question mark, voila, and have a look how, aha, now it's getting purple. 0, 0, 0, FF, so it should be, yeah, so that should work. So it's pretty cool that this API delivers us this option that we can just add something to the different parts. So what I will do now is, because I know that I most likely will change the different filters and everything in the future maybe, I add also constants for that I call, for example, the parameters, so blend mode RGB, so that would be blue, is this one. And this is a string. And what I will do now is, or why this is a string for me, I can use that now wherever I use the avatar URL and just concatenate that again. So I add, have this plus the new stuff. So, and with that, all the images are immediately blended in different ways. So what I can do now later is creating these as different parts, right? So, and now we have this blend mode blue is blend color 0FF. So this is just a color, but that doesn't look so cool, I think. What we can try is also add this blend mode to it. So we go back to Visual Studio, we add another const string, which is the blend mode, and this is the blend color, equals to whatever we have here. And now you can already see we have that question mark twice. So we have here parameters. How can we do that in a proper and very efficient way? We want to have different parameters to our URLs added. And I don't want to do that always by hand, and I don't want to change for every image the parameters. So what I will do now is I create a class for that. Or utils would be a better name, I think. And I want to have here something like a parameter creator. .dart. And this one is very funky because the parameter creator will have the knowledge about how we create the different parameters and add that to the URL. So what we have is that we get these two strings as constants and add them to this parameter creator. That we add here. So, and I think we can't have them const if they are here inside, but we can make them final. And now we have only access here to these parameters. And I will remove the question mark in front. So, and what we want to do is whenever the parameter creator is executed, whoops, is that right? So no. So what we can do is we add a static function, for example, add blend color, and this returns us a new string. And it will return this blend color here. It will take the URL, so avatar or image URL is maybe a better name, which is a string. And this image URL gets the blend mode added and is getting returned. What do I do? Here. Why is blend color can't be accessed from a static method? Ah, all right, so I can't access that one because it has to be created first. Yeah, makes sense. So, all right. So what we do is we add the blend color with that. But what I don't like is we have to understand if this is the first time that we create something like that. So we will have a variable called that we can have a Boolean first time, for example. And if it is first time, then we want to have image URL plus the question mark, right? Else we just want to have the image URL plus the ampersand. And that should do the trick already. And what is wrong here? Avoid using unnecessary statements. Creates a new string by concatenating the strings with, okay, so we can do that better? No. Because the image, the first time never changed so far. So the first time is false, and whenever we come to one of the methods, first time is getting set to true. Check if it is first time. So I think it's a better name. So if it is first time. So if it is first time, we start with true and then setting it to false. Yeah, with that we jump inside. The first time it's getting this question mark. Cool. And that will add this part. But as you can see, we will call this part more often because for all the different options that we have, we will call this method here. So I extract a method, call that check for first time, get a nice little method here, and we add the image URL. So, is that a good behavior? No, because as we learned, we don't want to mutate the state. If we say we check for the first time, we don't want to mutate here inside. So that is a bad name. But what we could say is add add necessary or add parameter. Add parameter. How do you call these parts? I don't know. Character. And also here. So now we can mutate this one because we tell the next developer that we add really that one. And this can be a private method because it stays here inside this class. So whenever we call now one of these methods that we will have in the future, we can add that stuff and we just call that in multiple ways. So for example, add blend color, and we have the add blend mode. So I call that again, I add the blend mode. And why I'm doing this so complicated, I will show you in a second, because we can do something very cool with that. Yes, we watched Extraction yesterday, to be frank. It was an amazing movie, but it doesn't have the lessons learned. This is what we didn't like about it. So now here, we can use this parameter creator inside the different parts and add these blend modes like we want. So for now, all our images should have the same, so we don't have to worry about them so much. But what we can do is we can use the parameter creator that we create once more. And now the cool thing is we have the parameter creator here. And because I set it to different options, we have now these methods here. And now I can use that double point creation. It has a fancy name that I don't remember yet. But we can just call it. And the cool thing is we get the instance of the parameter creator back instead of the string that it actually should bring back. And why this is important, I will show you in a second. Because we want to have it here in the item builder. Because the item builder has access to the image URL. And also what I want to change, well, okay, sorry, my IDE drives me crazy right now. So where we are. So, and the image URL is from the users index. .avatar URL. And this returns us that part. And I want to build a creator or a builder. I think builder is the better name. So instead of parameter creator, we have parameter builder. All right, so why parameter builder? Because what I want to do is instead of having all of this, we want to have the parameter builder here inside, where we get the avatar URL or an URL inside. Better the image URL string. And now we want to save in this object a string called avatar URL and or image URL. And if this is the case, I don't need these curly braces. I can just make it a named constructor and finish it off. Because what I want to do, and no, it can't be named because I need to require this one. Because what I want to do is I want that we just create the parameter builder and we only return that thing when we call a method called create. And this will return at the end the new image URL that we have on top. And we don't actually have to return the different strings here. It is just fancy of us that we do that. But actually what we also could do is we just remove that and say we return void. And we don't return anything and say image URL equals the image URL in blend mode. that is not possible. Why? Yeah, because that is not yet. So the same thing here and same thing here. And we don't do this. We just say the image URL equals the same. So, and here we go. This is that. That will be this and this. And I think we don't even need that anymore because we have already access to everything. We can remove this and this, make it more clean. Whew. Okay, I think I overcomplicated it a bit, but that's all right. So this is void. But the cool thing now is we can use this parameter builder. We enter once the avatar URL, which we have here. And now instead of, these shouldn't have any input parameter here anymore. And we can just now add these different blend modes and blend colors. And we can use these parameter creator and can now say wherever we want it to have, for example here, instead of this method, .create. And if this works correctly, like I expect, then we should have the possibility to create a new parameter builder, put it here inside, and this create function returns us the string that we want and adds the different parts of the add parameter characters to it. The good thing with that is we have an encapsulation for the different URL parts. But I made a mistake most likely. Method not found, unexpected null value. Okay, so the build function breaks because inside of my home page, inside of my home page, this part, where are we? This part seems to find null. So create seems to return null. That's not good. We have the parameter creator. Question is why. So we get the create, which returns the image URL, and it tells me that this is null. Interesting. So we print for now the image URL just to see if we return something. And let's see if something happens here inside. No, it seems just to break still. Do we get any information? Unexpected null value, method not found. Method not found. So does it don't find the create method? Wait a second. Before I do it too complicated, let's return to here. Let's see if this is still working. And I have to go to the bathroom for a second. So you will see a black screen till then. Yeah. Thank you for your patience. All right, so back here I am. Okay, I got first the information that we don't have so much time anymore. I just have 30 minutes till dinner is ready, so I have to speed up a little bit. But before we go now deeper and I start to get nervous and try to create cool, fancy parameter builders, I want to ask you, what do you would like to see? So what do you think? Should we finish off the application without any fancy parameter builder, or are you interested in the parameter builder and I should talk more about that? What do you think? Let's see if I can. All right. So no answer is also an answer. That means maybe I go too far with the parameter builder. Nope. Nice. What is nice? Yeah, parameter builder. All right. So then let's finish off the parameter builder. Do you have questions so far? Do I talk just random stuff, or do you understand what I'm doing? So maybe one recap to the whole parameter builder thing. What I'm doing is a called builder pattern. And I don't know if you are familiar with that, so I will open up quickly a wiki page or something where we find the cool patterns. And a builder pattern is very common in the software engineering. So you will find a lot of different tutorials. It has nothing to do with necessity with the Dart or something. It's language independent. And as you see, there are a lot of pictures with director and everything. But what it is saying is that you create a class out of it. And I'm searching for the, yep. So the builder pattern is a design pattern designed to provide a flexible solution to various object creation problems in object-oriented programming. The intent of builder design pattern is to separate the construction of a complex object from its representation. It sounds amazing. So I recommend you, if you have never read it, The Gang of Four. I did that during my university degree, so I highly recommend that. That was amazing. But for everyone else who doesn't have the benefit with the, you have some benefits with the builder pattern, but also some disadvantages. So what does it say to create a complex object out of a, for the representation? Well, what we want to have at the end is always, what did I do here? Okay, what we also have want to have is these an instance of an object, right? So to create an instance of an object, we usually do just creating that object with some parameters. But the problem with that is sometimes the parameters are not good enough, or they are not strongly typed, or they have other problems. Don't start with JavaScript and prototype development or something. But what we have here is we can have different access parameters and we get back the object itself. So we call a method, we get back the object itself, and we can add other things to it. A very interesting example for that is at the tween, the multi-tween, I think, because the multi-tween has also the work with that. And maybe I can just open the thing before I write now some weird things. But the multi-tween is also in the same manner created, because what the multi-tween does is an animation from one part to another. Do we have a good example here somewhere? I think I read this one today from Felix Blaschke. That's why the thing is here. And you can see we always receive back the different parts, even if we call the add parameter multiple times. We have a multi-tween object here, and we add multiple tweens to that. And that has the benefit that we can have the object at the end, and we receive at the end the object back and can work with that. So the representation is part of the creation. And so we have different chained animations. And for the developers who work in the future with these methods, they can strongly type it, they can be sure what they get back, and they be expecting from that method. The problem with that is sometimes in testing, you receive null pointer exceptions, for example, and so there could be other problems that are happening. But if you're interested, I highly recommend this article. I also sent you a link in the parts. And if you are interested more about builder package and so on, I also can highly recommend the Gang of 4 here. Okay, but now let's try to create that further. And let's go here. We have the parameter creator. We created our part here. At least I tried. Create. And let's have a look how the application behaves. We still get the error with method not found. This is really weird because parameter creator creation, and we get back these parts, and the parameter creator has the method on it. Do I miss something at the moment? I thought this is the way how it works, but what I can do now, what I want to try now, I want to return something here. So for example this, and also the same we do for this. And what is that now? Ah yeah, string. And I want to set the image URL anyway to that parts. And I just return the image URL. Good. So let's see if this works better now, but I'm not sure why it shouldn't work at all. That is a weird error at the moment. But maybe it's also a problem with the web that I don't get a right error message here. Where does it happen anyway? The widgets, rendering, bindings. Arguments is an empty array. Okay, I'm absolutely lost, to be frank. Where comes this error from? Do we have here in the console something? Unexpected null value. Add parameter character, parameter creator. The method add parameter character, no such method. Ah, all right, so we come here and we get here the error somewhere. Test. So let's try that. Hot reload happened. Get a lot of stack trace. And here we get our test. Okay, so we come here. And now he says somewhere we... Oh. No. We update this one. This is right. Unexpected null value. Method not found. So the parameter creator add blend color. So we tried to call this one. This works. So let's have a look here. Did the hot reload happen? I think so. Wow, Skrillex again. Second. No, it's Ferrara in that case. All right. Okay. The test is working. No, this can't be the same. Let's make a hot reload. Let's see. No, we don't jump into that one. Okay, we can't access that. So can we come here or here? Clean that one up. That is a good point. I think I will do that once in a while, Raj. Oh, what happens now? My stream's away. That's a good point, Raj. I really want to do that with a live app. I have exactly my electric app, and I think I want to once in a while work on that. The problem is it is not at all. Yeah, it's a real project. So with that, it's also coming with the problems with the real project, right? I don't know what's wrong here, but somehow the stream is collapsing. Am I still there? Don't know. Okay, I still have internet. That's a good sign. What happened? Okay, in the meantime, I can still work here. Don't know what's wrong with the stream. I hope you're coming back, guys. But something is wrong here. Add Blender color, that works too. Let's have here true and false, and here we have true. Let's see what happens. We get the false one, so this is happening. And then we get no such error. That is weird. My homepage Dart 45. This method is not. He can't call this one? No, it's also not the case. Hey, welcome back. It seems that I lost connection or something. I'm sorry for that. Okay, so you're coming back. You made me nervous. Suddenly we're all disappearing. I hope the stream was okay, or I don't know what the problem was. So what I did in the meantime, I just tried a bit around, but somehow I still don't get it. The create function returns null, which is weird because the image URL is an empty string usually. I'm so bad. That is, of course it is null. Because I have to set this image URL here and maybe make it required. Yeah, can I get the foundation here? What is... No, let's keep the required away. But that's weird. Why does it not get it? Because it is like that. Can I make this private here? I don't think that is working. Yeah, no. Okay. So search and replace in Visual Studio Code. Is it Command R? Command H? Well. Command F is that. And search and replace. Command Shift F? No. Search, replace. Okay, so I replace that with image URL, and we do that with everything. Zack. Replace. Cool. What was the keyword for that? Search and replace. Command Shift H. I tried that, but okay, now it works. Anyhow, the problem was that the image URL was empty, and of course with that it couldn't access that. So now we have that create returns now something, and here we have the image URL. So now we see the image. Good, good. Now we try to add blend color and we break. Why? So we get the PNG, but we don't add this part that is necessary. So this add parameter character doesn't work like we expected because we don't do it. Image URL equals. I don't know if you heard it, Raj, but I will do that in the future maybe. I have there the electric app that I want to do, and there I have also some parts that I really would like to show you guys. Okay, so now we managed it. We have the colors, we have the blendings, and everything seems to work fine. We load in whenever we want, and that's already something. It's just a bit big, or I think for the full width, I don't like that so much. What I would like to is that the whole container is getting a bit smaller and the parts where we have that is a bit smaller. So let's do that. So we make them 400, that's fine. But we want to have this container, or better that whole list, a bit smaller. I don't like that it is that big. How can we do that? Maybe we can wrap it. It's a list view with a scroll direction. Can we give that a size, a width or something, a height? No. And I think I should remove the printing. I don't think that is a good thing. Here, good. Okay, so what can we do in my home page? We want to have that padding, and we have here all, but what we have is it only, or what I can do is using the symmetric, which gives us a vertical control and a horizontal. And let's have here 30. And of course we have a comma. So, and it's of course exactly the opposite around. And here 8. I'll make them a bit more like this. Okay. And now let's navigate, or I think it's still not good. I think, all right, it still looks a bit cheap, to be frank. I wouldn't like to give something like that away. So what we can do is we want to have that a bit better, and it looks like cheap at the moment. Let's think about it. We have a border box, but what we actually want is a card, because that looks so sadly empty. So can we just use a card here and don't give it a... I think, no, it would be better to have a container, and that container we wrap inside of a card. Let's see if this helps us with that, what I want to achieve. So we give that a card. Let's see how this looks. So the card looks already a bit promising for that situation, right? We have that nice little shadow and everything, and I can remove the border. So, and decoration away, and let's see. Something weird happened. Raj, no, you can't use packages from pubdev. Unfortunately, you have to use the basic packages. Like what you can use is, for example, all the Dart packages and also all the Flutter packages and also the material packages. But you can't use them from pub.dev and just use public ones. So we are far away from things like, for example, StackBlitz, where you can just use all the dependencies, it downloads from npm and start it to or create that in CodePen. So now we have that. Now back to our code. How can we increase that? I don't like that padding on top. That is not a good thing. I think it comes from here, right? Oops. It's padding, of course, I need that. We don't need the vertical part, but now we have this problem here. And for that we had this padding around, but the padding is now not valid anymore because that container with that width and height is maybe apart. We can give that a height, right, from 500 max. And this padding we should have inside of the card. So give that a padding and add that here. So now it looks a bit better here, but still the container surrounding it needs a little bit more padding on top, maybe an 8. So. And also here we can have a symmetric one with a vertical. Yeah, better. But why is my card now so big still? I don't like that. I wanted to have that card smaller. That's why I gave that container 500 of height. But he ignored me. That happens whenever we have a full width here. So if we take a look into our parts here, we have these different cards. Let's go back to the drawing board here. So if we have these so big, we can have 4 of them, but it looks a bit bad or a bit sad if I'm honest, because if I take a look here now, it looks lost. So what I would recommend is that we, instead of having so many big ones, that we maybe halve the size of them and just make it like this, that we have always 2 cards beyond. I think that would be better. So something like this. I think that's better. So we have a column here with 2, and then inside of that axis. Let's see if I can do that with our separated list view. So we get this. This is working now. Here's also missing the add blend mode. Make that smaller again. Let's have a look. That is all that. And we can't click them yet. That's all right. So, what should we do next? What do you think? Should we make that smaller, or should we keep it like that? Or should we make first the navigation to the second page that we maybe create? I think we can go with the navigation yet so far. As long if you have any other opinion, please let me know. Okay, so what I would do is I surround these containers with a widget that is a gesture detector, which is most of the time the easiest way to make a tap event happen. And this tap event has now the possibility to navigate us to a next page. There are multiple ways we can navigate. We have named routing system, we have a routing system, we have this one. And what I want to do is now I want just to use the navigator.push. And as I said, this is now the easiest way, so material page route. And inside of that, we get a builder function that by itself takes a context and returns the new widget that we want to open up. So for example, we want to have a user detail view. So, and this user detail view has to be now created. And for that, we create a new screen, user detail view .dart. And here we create a stateless widget, user details view or detail view. And of course we have to import the material. So, and if I go now back to our my homepage and import that part, we should be able, whenever we click one of these elements, to navigate. But as you see, we navigate to an empty container where nothing is living. So to make that more visible for us, we create here a scaffold. Whoa, that is a bit too much. Scaffold. Scaffold. Here we go. And inside of the scaffold, we have an app bar with a title, with a text, and say here user detail page. And even better would be if we get later the username here inside. So, so let's click that. We open up the username here. And what I want to achieve now is, for example, a hero animation, because if I'm not wrong, the hero animation is not part of the Flutter package, or it's not part of the pub.dev package. Let's have a look. Hero animation looks good, looks good. And so we can just use it and then we can see if it's there or not. Okay, sorry guys, we will go further with that in an hour maybe, roundabout. I just have to eat something. It was an amazing live stream, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today, as always, and we see us later. All right, so enjoy the rest of, yeah, till later, sorry.